This is Unwrap. Unwrap is an open source iOS application for learning how to code in Swift. It consists of a variety of lessons and challenges to help introduce the user to the Swift language. One feature of the app is the News tab. This tab consists of a table view of news articles relating to the Swift language. Selecting an article loads the news site in an in-app browser. Users can navigate through the web page as well as reloading. It's implemented utilizing WebKit. WebKit is the same web browser engine that powers many iOS experiences, including the Safari web browser. Specifically, this feature is implemented using WKWebView. As stated here, WKWebView displays interactive web content, specifically designed for features such as ours that have in-application web browsers. Before we dive into Unwrap's specific implementation of a WebKit web view, let's review the Apple developer documentation for a generic implementation of such a view. In our load view function, our web view is initialized as a WebKit WebView object. In our viewDidLoad function, we provide the URL of the web page we would like to load in our in-app browser and dispatch our URL request to load the page. Unwrap. Here we have our table view of news articles. When an article is selected, we identify the article in the corresponding cell. Then, we call our read function, which is going to initialize a view controller as an instance of a web view controller. This web view controller with the specified article URL is created here, which brings us back to our generic pattern we saw in the Apple developer documentation, as this web view controller is a wrapper for the WebKit web view. In our init function, we set the URL for our web view controller to be the URL of the article. Then we override our load view function and initialize a web view. The developer of Unwrap has created WebView, which is based upon the WebKit WebView object we reviewed in the Apple developer documentation. The developer has extended this functionality and customized the way this view displays to the user. Internal WebView is set to our initialization of the WebView object. We call the load function on the provided article URL. This actually dispatches the URL request for the content of the article by using the WebKit WebView load function. We've reached the point where WebKit WebView has loaded our article and is displaying it to the user. Let's review some of the options that we have when working with this API to customize the user experience. First, we can customize whether or not the user can use the back and forward navigations within the browser. The next item we'll review is the loading bar that displays at the top of the screen when we are loading an article using our WebKit WebView. Upon selection of an article, the progress bar indicates the % of the article that has been loaded. This progress bar also shows when we reload the article. This is controllable by the developer. Here, in Loading Did Start, you'll see the Unwrap developer has set progress to 0 and set the isHidden attribute of the progress view to false. When the loading is completed, you'll see that the progress view is hidden again. However, we could decide not to show the progress bar to the user as we are loading our web view. Finally, we'll review the functionality to allow the user to share the article that they are viewing. From within Web View Controller, we use the Get Share items within WebView to append the title of the web view with the Twitter handle of our Unwrap developer, @2straws. This is used with the UI Activity View controller and a popover to allow the user an alert to share the article they are currently viewing. This concludes our review of how WebKit WebView is used within the Unwrap application.